Hello everyone, welcome back to the continuation of Bryar Rose. Oh my gosh, it's getting intense now, guys. Complete shock from the last episode, honestly. A few minutes later, Nox and I step back into the temple. The Colonel flows along behind us. Once inside, we find Ella and Alex standing by the geyser and decidedly far away from Reggie, who's grinning manically from ear to ear. Everyone looks up as we enter. You okay? Asks Ella. Fine, I reply. We have lots to talk about. Alec gestures towards Nox, and you look like death warmed over. Unfortunately, Alec is right. Whatever healing magic the Colonel had given us all, it's already failing my mate. Not that it's polite of Alex to point that out, but that's Alec and Nox for you. If they hugged and said, "Love you, man," when greeting each other, I wouldn't know what to do. Alec frowns. Although technically, Reggie actually is death warmed over, and you look worse than him. So there's that. Nox barely lifts his right brow. Great story, Alec. Thanks for sharing. I brace myself, waiting for my inner wolf to start up her commentary. She doesn't. Apparently, the stasis spell from the Colonel is still in effect. On the way over here, I'd asked the Colonel when my wolf would awaken. He said the spell is set to protect my animal until I'm ready to explain my status as the fountain to her. Guess I'm still reeling from the news, because my wolf is most definitely still in stasis. Everyone stands around me, staring at me with expectant looks on their faces. I realise they're waiting for me to say something here. That's right. I went to talk to the Colonel. I clear my throat. Well, everyone, the Colonel spoke with me and Nox. I pause. There's so much to say here. I'm not sure where I can even begin. I decide it's best to start small and lead up to big stuff. Ella, I've good news for you. Reggie moves in to lurk over Ella's shoulder. She takes a pointed step away from him. Tell me you were sending Reggie away. No, not that. So, I rub my palms together, waiting for the best speech in the world to appear in my mind's eye. It doesn't. You're the warden of fey magic. How about that? Ella's normally animated features fall slack. And what? The warden of all fey magic. The Colonel tips his hat. Congratulations. Don't con a con artist. Ella flips her hair over her shoulder. How could you know that? I'm the warden of fey magic. Blackavere and I are good friends, answers the Colonel. All the colour drains from Ella's face. Oh, I wasn't aware. Well, she and I are close, continues the Colonel. In fact, Blackavere did me a great service. She helped me escape the fairylands when I was entrapped by my enemies. In response, I promised her a boon. One request, no matter what it was. I couldn't say no. What boon did she ask for? Ella's face crumples with confusion as she rubs her shoulder blade, right where her wings would be attached. I think you know, sugar. Blackavere had a charge you needed to escape from a terrible situation. The Colonel lets out a long breath. I didn't want to wake your wings, but it was the only way you could change the way you look and escape. The whole reason your captors imprisoned you was because they knew you were warden of fey magic. I'm so sorry. Ella's hands balls into fists. Why didn't you tell me I was the warden, or Blackavere for that matter? Now, that one's on me, says the Colonel. I made one condition after taking your wings. Magic usually chooses close friends for wardens. All folks that magic knows will become close friends. I forbid Blackavere from telling you because, well, you might have figured things out with Bryar here. Ella pounds on me. Figured out what? Worry, fear and excitement battle it out in my nervous system. Once again, I wish I had a great speech at the ready. I don't. I steel my shoulders and meet Ella's gaze straight on. Ella, I'm the fountain. Ella glances between me and the guys atop. You don't look like the fountain. The fountain isn't a thing, I explain. It never was. Nox steps closer to Ella. The glyph for the fountain can also be translated as geyser or foam. That means it can be a person. Reggie's youth smile grows even larger. Cheers, tears, the hopes and fears. A fountain is born once every 5,000 years. I stare at Reggie in disbelief. You knew I was the fountain. How long has this been going on? The Colonel told me, says Reggie. Ever since, I've been trying to tell you over and over. Next time I say, you might want to stop with all the cryptic sing-songs and just say stuff. Reggie lifts his chin. Well, that's what I get for helping the living. When it comes to Reggie, drills the Colonel, I needed his help to protect you, so I explained things a little. Plus, I knew he'd never be able to explain what he knew, even if he wanted to. He focuses on Reggie. Your communication skills are thankfully limited. Alec goes into one of man's catalogue poses. This is a classic one. He sets his hands in his pockets and looks up. Wait a mo. I remember Knox talking about the autumn equinox. That's tomorrow night, isn't it? Ellen narrows her eyes. Why do I think I'll hate whatever comes next, after that little equinox comment? The fountain, that's me. It's supposed to give its bounty on the autumn equinox, and yes, that's tomorrow night. The way I say the words, it's like I'm reading my own obituary. Ella's voice takes on a dangerous edge. What happens when all the bounty given is over? Red thread, trials and bread, sings Reggie. After the ceremony, Bryar Rose will be dead. Nice, of course. Reggie shares his little piece of information. No trouble. Now, the Colonel raises his hands, so his palms face outward. It's his motion for calm down. Knox here thinks we can try to change that. Maybe there's somewhere to keep Bryar alive. Reggie starts singing again. Red thread, trials and bread. Can it, Reggie? Says Knox. In reply, Reggie closes his mouth with a popping sound. Ella focuses on me. What do you think happens after the ceremony? I don't know, but I swallow hard. I swallow hard past the knot of fear in my throat. I hope I can write my own story. Get a happy ending for all of us. I sneak a glance at Knox, a look of pain and flashes in his ice blue eyes. For once. I know it has nothing to do with whatever magical spell is draining his energy. It's me. All this time, Knox has been so patient and solid, he didn't believe magic was punishing him for choosing me. Later, he refused to believe that I had to share the same fate as Caliber, the last fountain. We can write our own story. With all my heart, I wish I could believe that was the truth. But this isn't like anything else I've ever encountered. Before, my worst challenge was fighting Jules. Sure, the guy was an evil mummy zombie and had an army, but he was still a person, and the rules of what is meant to be Denari were pretty close. Now I'm facing down all the power of magic, and it's inside me. No one knows how any of this works. I just can't pretend everything will work out right. Stepping over to Knox's side, I rest my hand on his lower arm. He gives me a small smile and whispers 3 words. Our own story. I force a smile in return. We'll give it everything we've got. Turning, I focus on Alec and Ella. Knox and I are going to the pyramids. We'd like your help, but we totally understand if you don't want to. Alec rolls his eyes. Like I'd be anywhere else. I'm in too, adds Ella. Try, fly, pretty little cry, says Reggie. This is when I say goodbye. With that, he skips out the door. Nut job. One by one, my gaze moves across everyone in the temple. There's Knox, Ella, Alec, and the Colonel. Here in this place stands everyone in the world that I truly care about. They're all risking everything to help me. And if we screw up, the totality of magic may get drained from the world. I'll end up dead, and so will everyone's shifter animals. No pressure. Knox inhales. I smell your fear. His gaze locks with mine. Whenever you get afraid, just look for me. I'll always be here. Stepping closer to Knox, I wrap my arms around his waist and lean into his embrace. This man, everything solid and strong is my life. Thank you. Across the room, Alec reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handful of gems. Let me guess. Now you need me to transfer everyone over to Egypt and the pyramids. Actually, says the Colonel, I was hoping I might be of service in that regard. You'll magically transport us? Says Alec. No. I was thinking more that I'd loan you my personal jet and pilot, says the Colonel. We need to keep up our magical strength for whatever comes next. Transport spells are a drain. For some reason, my brain stays stuck on the fact only. You have a personal jet? I ask. The Colonel shrugs. Why wouldn't I? The pilot is a troll, so be polite and don't stare. I'm not 100% clear. Do you mean a troll as in ugly? I ask. Sure, I'd heard stories about trolls, but I've always put the tales in the same category as soul shepherds, super cool stuff. But until I see them with my own eyes, I wasn't going to believe anything. No, says the Colonel slowly. A troll as in... A troll? Right, Ella purses her lips. So we're flying to Egypt, human style, and our pilot is a troll. I've got time to make a few calls. Maybe I can find us some weapons. She rubs her palms together. Ella loves magical weapons. There must be something that fights the void. Look, I'm not so sure the void is a big bad, I say. All the guy's ever said is that he wants a fountain. The jury's out on that one, in my opinion. He might want to help me. What about the shadow then? Asks Alec. Nothing's changed there, right? The shadow men are not too big, I reply, but they're definitely bad, I shiver, remembering how they possess Nox. The Colonel waves his hand. Y'all don't need weapons. Once the ceremony starts, you'll only be dealing with magic. Ella narrows her eyes, so we need protection spells. With that much magic around, says the Colonel, no ordinary spells would work. That's why the Luxaltal Wardens gave you those glyphs of protection on your backs. His silver eyes glisten with regret. Or in your case, Ella, they were on your wings. All Ella's excitement about weaponry evaporates. She takes half a step backwards. Oh. My inner wolf takes this moment to awaken. With my heart, she yawns and stretches. What happened? She asks. What did I miss? The Colonel had some big news. He thought it best to explain it to me first, so he put you in stasis. My wolf lowers her head and growls. How dare the Colonel put me in stasis? I'll explain more on the plane ride, but I hate planes. I get that you're upset, but please don't go Gollum on me now. When my wolf starts talking like that evil creature from the Lord of the Rings, she's so loud, I can hardly think. I need to focus on Ella right now. My best friend shifts her weight from foot to foot. No protection glyphs, and no other way to guard myself. Thanks for clarifying. You won't be without protection. I shoot a pointer stare in Colonel's direction. That's why the Colonel is coming along with us. To guard you. Sorry, Sugar, the Colonel shakes his head. I need to make sure my fountain is safe. Now it's sweet that the Colonel is calling me his fountain and wants to guard me, but there are limits to this fatherly protection situation. Ella is my best friend. She's risking her life with no one to watch her back. Not acceptable. I'm calling in my boon, Colonel. My inner wolf perks up at this news. A boon? What boon? She asks. The Colonel gave me a boon, I explain in my mind. It was his way of apologising for putting you into stasis without asking my permission. Across the temple, the Colonel blinks innocently. Fine. You call it your boon and I'll play God. I haven't been around for all my life to miss those verbal acrobats. The Colonel said he'd play God, but he didn't specify anyone in particular. Colonel, I lower my voice. To level, that says I mean business. You're guarding Ella. I disagree, says the Colonel. His skin glows with silver light, and he looks more like a supernatural being than ever before. When the fountain gives its bounty, no one can be there except the wardens. No one. I refuse to accept that for my little one. Do you know how many years I searched for information about the fountain? I made so many sacrifices. I cast so many spells. And all I could do was be at your side when the time comes. Your side, Sugar. No one else's. Ella steps forward. Look, Bry, forget it, I say to the Colonel. I appreciate all you've done. But you're guarding Ella, first and foremost. This is the only way to satisfy the boon. The Colonel bows slightly and tips his hat. Agreed, at last. He straightens his glance. The frightening fear disappears and the Colonel becomes all smooth human-like charm once again. Now, if y'all don't mind, I'll call my pilot and get the flight set. I expect everyone to sleep and eat on the plane. Y'all need to be prepared for what's to come. Those last 3 words reverberate through my soul. What's to come? That's the core of the problem, really. We've no idea what's about to happen. Whatever it is, it might kill me along with everyone I care about. Worry presses in around me, tight as a vice. I force my spine to straighten. Remember, you can write your story. Readable is. Well, I can't even picture a happy ending, let alone make it come to pass. You know, that's the end of this part, but it does say redouble, and I think it means trouble is. I can't even picture a happy ending, let alone make it come to pass. There's a spelling mistake, but it's not the first I've noticed in the books. There is quite a few. So, I guess it's time to head to the pyramids next, and the big showdown is about to happen, guys. Join me in the next episode to find out what exactly does happen. Many blessings.